Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited. Isis, All That Glitters. The goddess next door takes on a bikini-clad bank robber in this action-packed, all-new Isis series adventure. Get Isis, All That Glitters in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. When it comes down to men who write in genres like women's fiction, romance, and write stories featuring heroines like Isis and SImp like I do, it's often a major challenge in order to try to sell books to readers. And the main reason why it's a major challenge for a male author to sell books that feature heroines or in genres that appeal to women is because oftentimes most women don't believe that a man can write in those genres. And oftentimes, whenever a writer like myself goes out to write those type of stories, we often face an uphill struggle. Now, some would want an author like myself to go out of his way to appeal to women by doing things like agreeing with women as related to causes that they have and making efforts to reach out to women by going out of my way to go along with causes I have issues with, but agreeing to go along with them in the hopes of going out to create a word of mouth among readers and to show how supportive I am to some so-called women's causes. Now, when I take a look at that type of behavior, I see that type of behavior as pandering, and I see any guy who would go out here and pander to women is someone who is extremely dishonest. Because as I see it, if I want to go out of my way to support women, then I should be able to be open and critical of women who I believe to have gone out here and participated in irresponsible, reckless, and egregious behavior, and call out that behavior so that women can be held accountable for that behavior. And I believe that that shows how much integrity I have as an author and a publisher, because I want to, if I create these characters that fit my mission, which is positive stories about the African American experience and making efforts to diversify the African American book market, I have to screw out here and call out that bad behavior, because if I want to promote good behavior like I feature in many of my books featuring heroines, such as the Thetas, the Spinsterella trilogy, and the Isis and SImp series books, then I have to call out that bad behavior. And for me to go out here and remain silent, I believe that would be extremely dishonest and compromise the mission of the SJS Direct imprint. Now, when I look at guys like your Steve Harvey, who have gone out of their way to pander to female audiences in order to get short-term sales, I see it as something extremely negative. Because guys like your Steve Harvey, who go out here and create books like Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man, these guys, yes, they make a lot of money in the short term because they play to women's emotions, and they sell them snake oil in between the pages of their books. And because these women buy the snake oil, yes, Steve Harvey makes a lot of money in the short term, but the reader never grows in the long term. Whereas when I go out here and publish a book on the nonfiction side, like a Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, yes, there are some women who will be offended by that book. However, I believe that those women who were offended by that book, they will eventually be a small number, because many more will learn from the information in that book. And that book, while it may be painful to read what's in between those pages, once they learn to process what they've learned in that book, they will eventually grow from that information, and they will learn from that information. And I don't believe that if I go out here and I state honest, observable facts, then I'm going to alienate any female readers out there. And yes, there have been some that might have been slightly offended by certain videos I have made or certain books I have written. But as I see it, if I truly care about women, then I'm going to say things that show how much I care about women, even if it hurts their feelings. Because I cannot think, if I really want to help that woman, I need to let her know what the truth is. And the whole thing is, we have too many men out here pandering to women and in hopes of getting their attention and their approval. And because these men pander to women to get their attention and their approval, yes, they make money in the short term, but these women never grow and mature in the long term because these men are too cowardly to call out these women's irresponsible, reckless, and egregious behaviors and hold these females to a higher standard. And when I go out here and publish books, yes, I know that I face an uphill battle in trying to write books featuring heroines, but as I see it, it relates to the integrity of my mission to go out here and call out those bad behaviors of women. And I don't believe it's going to alienate readers in the long term of books like the ISIS series, the SImp series, or books like the Spinsterella trilogy, or books like the Thetas, because when it comes down to the heroines I write, I want to go out here and have the same integrity that I promote on the pages of my books in my own personal life, and I don't want to compromise that integrity in an effort to try to get more sales by pandering to people. Because when I look at what happened to your Steve Harvey, yes, he made a lot of money in the short term playing to women's emotions and selling them the idea that they could act like a lady and think like a man. But when it came down at the end of the day, most of those women, after they bought that book and paid over $20-some for that book, or $15, a lot of them did not wind up with a relationship with a man, because when in most cases, all of the approaches in Steve Harvey's book just didn't work because they were not based on anything as related to an overall comprehensive picture to the issue of what was keeping women single. Whereas when I do a book like Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, the women who read that book, yes, they hurt in the beginning, but eventually they grow, they change, and they move their lives forward. And the $5.99 they spend on that book winds up giving them enrichment to their lives, and that's why I see the ultimate value of a Sean James or SJS Direct book. And I would rather build a word of mouth as related to going out here and helping people rather than pandering to women, telling them what they want to hear. And because when you tell women what they want to hear, like guys like your Steve Harvey and many of your pastors out here, yes, you make the woman feel good for a minute, but at the end of the day, she's still in the same place that she was before. And as a writer, again, my mission is to go out here and create those positive stories about the Black experience and show you positive examples of Black womanhood, not only because I know women like this, but because I want there to be a model of Black womanhood for other little girls and young women to see as an example of how they should carry themselves, how they should conduct themselves, and have an example of what it means to be a strong, beautiful Black woman. That's what I want to put in my literature, and I'm trying to reach a larger audience, but the way I want to reach a larger audience is on the merits of that work. I want my readers to know that I'm going to go out of my way to give them the very best in terms of quality, and I'm going to be as professional as possible. I do not want to go out here and pander to people by telling them what they want to hear what I want to do is reach readers by letting them know what they need to know, because when you go out here and you buy a book, whether it be fiction or nonfiction, you should be learning from that book. You should be growing from that book. And many of the readers who have picked up my women's fiction and my romances and books like the ISIS and E-Steam series, they say that they are surprised to hear that a man could write a story like this, and they learn from that story. And these aren't just black women, these are women all over the world. And yes, some women do get offended sometimes when I say things in videos or blogs, but eventually those women, they come back after a while and realize what they have learned, and they appreciate what they have learned, whether it be in one of those blogs or one of those books, because they understand after a while that pain that they were getting allowed them to grow. And this is why I do not pander to women, because it's a strong man of character who goes and tells a woman what she needs to know, and a weak man who tells her what she wants to hear. Because the man who truly cares about women is not the guy going out here like a Steve Harvey pandering to women, telling them they can act like a lady and think like a man. The man who truly cares about women is going to tell this woman why she is single, why these approaches don't work, and show her approaches that will work towards appealing towards men. And he's going to create positive fiction that gives her a healthy example of social interactions between men and women, and healthy interactions where show her a positive example of the behaviors that men want to see in women. So that's what you're going to get when I go and do books. And as I see it, I'm out here trying to reach new readers every day. But the way I want to reach new readers every day is with what's on the page. I want what's on the page to be the best quality. And as I see it, I don't want to be out here pandering to women, because as the author of a series of books talking about stop simping, the way I see it, pandering to women is just another form of simping, and no man should place himself in a submissive position to a woman, whether it be an effort to get her phone number or sales on a book. The way I see it, if you are a man of character, you don't go out here pandering to readers. You go out here and you sell to your readers by giving them a top quality story and a top quality reading experience. And that's what I want to do with every SJS Direct imprint book that I write with heroines like the ISIS series, the E-Steam series, or books like the Thetas or the Spinsterella trilogy. I want to go out here and give you a really solid reading experience at the end of the day, because I believe that a solid reading experience will get me more of a word of mouth than any efforts to go out here and try to pander to audiences of women, because the guy pandering to a woman is not the one who cares about women. All he cares about is making a fast dollar at that woman's expense, and not making any efforts to go out here and enrich that woman's life with information that can help her to grow to become a better woman. If you'd like to try some of my positive stories featuring heroines like the ISIS series, the E-Steam series, the Spinsterella trilogy, or the novel The Thetas, you may do so by clicking the link to Amazon.com in the description box. And there you can pick up all of those books in paperback or Kindle format, and you can find many of these books on other digital book platforms like Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Barnes & Noble. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, E-Steam Goddess of. Hell's aspiring angel takes on a demonic dominatrix in this action-packed all-new E-Steam series adventure. Get E-Steam Goddess of in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today.